All right, welcome everyone to Watch and Code Office Hours. This is session number 89. The way this works is really simple if you're new. If you're going through any content at Watch and Code and you have a question about it, you can ask me directly over video chat, and I kind of answer questions one by one as they come. So it's just like office hours that you might have experienced in college or university. And that's pretty much it. There are a couple logistics and announcements before we start. The first one is you want to join the Facebook group to hear about updates. I very rarely send emails. And so if there's any new information about Watch and Code, it will be in the Facebook group. And then also this document, if you're watching on YouTube, on the YouTube live stream, this document is linked in the video description. So you'll want to get to this document if you're not on it. If you do have a question and you're watching on the YouTube live stream, you'll want to call in. So there's a link to call in, and then you can ask your question. I do not reliably check the live chat. So if you ask a question there, assume you're going to be ignored. I'm not, because I don't always look at that. For new stuff, I redid the latest video in the underscore series for premium members. So if you've watched that series already, you should watch it again, since it's about double the length and there's new content in there. So if you've watched that already, you should make sure to rewatch it. If you haven't watched it yet, then there's nothing to worry about. You'll just see the fresh latest version when you get there. So that's all from my side. From here, we'll just go ahead and go into questions, and I'll try to call on people in the order that they joined the chat. So I think actually Ben was first. Ben, are you there? So you want to unmute. Ben, can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna skip you, Ben. So I'll come back to you. Move to Andrew.
Hey, Gordon.
Hey, Andrew, how's it going?
Very well. No questions. I am a little hung up on something, but I'm attempting to work through it. Actually getting some help from Jonathan. I'm working on that. It's actually back further. You know how you find things that you think you understand and realize you don't really understand them. So that's all that's really going on.
Okay, cool. I'll try Ben one more time. Ben, are you there? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, then give me a thumbs up or something. Okay. We'll go to Alex next. Alex, are you there? Okay, I'm gonna skip you to Alex. Joe?
Yeah, I'm here. I guess I don't have any questions. I've been
Okay.
I've been going through it, and I feel like I'm just going through that process in that second part of the version. So, and I don't feel like I haven't really gotten to the part where I'm trying to fix anything for the to-do MVC code, but I'm basically doing what you said. I'm keeping it on my desk and I'm looking at it and I'm reading the code. And as every time I go through it, the different methods, different parts, different sections, different techniques make more and more sense. So I feel like I'm kind of on the right track, but like any questions that like basically I don't think I could ask a good question right now. Like I don't feel like I've anything that I might want to ask about. I feel like I should follow the process more. and because that has been working and has been clarifying everything for me. So no questions.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the update, Joe. I will try Ben again. Ben, can you hear me? Or Leo? You changed your name. You're muted. You'll need to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Wait, so what's your name? Is it Ben or Leo?
Leo, I just accidentally logged into an email account. So when you're calling down, like, is it me? No. This is not doing me.
Okay.
Actually, I don't have any questions, but I really enjoy, just want to say it's really good content. I really learn a lot from all your courses. First time here, just to check out what the office hours like and see what other questions people have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And where are you with the content right now?
In the middle of Content JS right now.
Okay. Cool. And how has it been so far?
It seems like everything it's easier to understand compared to the way I used to learn big stuff on the internet. I really like all the explanation and stuff. I feel like it's easy, but I do have doubt that if I try to build stuff on my own, would it be that easy?
Mm-hmm.
So I trying to get to the point where I could actually be really good at JavaScript and trying to build the actual product myself.
Got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, it's good to meet you, Leo. Thanks for dropping by. Alex, I saw your message in the chat that you didn't have any questions. You're just here to listen. So thanks for that. Let's go to Yagna.
Yeah. No questions as such. I, in fact, really enjoyed going back to the practical JS again and redo some of the things that I've done before. It kind of really helped to go through each and every element of the code, try to see using debugger. Debugger has been really helpful. Even right now, I'm on the reading section, going through the jQuery code and going through some of the methods. Even the, I mean, it kind of really helps to see the flow of, I mean, I really kind of started enjoying the browser so much now. The kind of things that you can, I never really seen it that way. And one thing I've really timed, which I haven't done the last time, is to be consistent. Even if there's nothing much that I can contribute to the daily meetings or to the office hour sessions, but I want to be there to see how others are doing. I haven't done that last time. I was very inconsistent. I just thought going to the courses is enough. Mm-hmm. I don't have to really be part of any of these things, but in my mind, I really want to give my best and take whatever I can and contribute whatever I can.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't have any questions as such for this week, but I think I'll have more as I progress in this.
Yep. Yeah, I think going to office hours and so if you're not aware, if you're subscribed to the premium membership, we have a daily meeting that you can join and where you can give an update and get your questions answered and so forth. Yeah. And I think that's actually really valuable because even if you never have a question, it makes you make some progress every single day, which is probably the most important thing you could do.
Yeah, yeah.
So I highly recommend if you're subscribed to Premium to join that, and if you're just in Practical JavaScript right now, then to come to the office hours and just to get that reminder that you should be making progress. So
yeah.
I actually told my friend. I told one of my friends that that's probably the most important thing you could do, because it's one decision you'll make that will just solve a lot of problems for you. It will solve the consistency problem. It will solve the problem that if you get stuck, you won't get stuck, right? And when you get more sophisticated, you'll actually get a chance to work on things that are really hard to do on your own. So, for example, a lot of times in the daily meetings, I let students will just answer each other's questions, and that's really hard. And so it's a really good way for you to test your knowledge, test your understanding, and make sure that you really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's really a really helpful thing.
Yeah.
It's also really helpful because, you know, if you aren't able to explain something, or there's something that you are having difficulty with, you know, I'm usually there and I can chime in. Yeah, I think talking about code is a underrated skill. It's really important if you're on any team, which you probably all will be on if you're not on a team already. But also even in things like the interview process, it's essentially talking about code, right? So if you only study on your own, it's very difficult to have relevant experiences where you can talk about code.
Yeah. And also it helps me sometimes to, especially, I tend to get very distracted as I progress in the course. I feel like I need to dig in too deep into some things, but then the process that you laid out kind of really helps to get back. Yes, test one feature at a time, and then go back and just do some basic research just to get an idea, and then get back to the process. I think that really helped me to kind of redo it iteratively over the process, but not just spread it across. But yeah, thanks. I'll continue on my progress.
Cool. Thanks, Yagna. And then last, we have Hernando. Hernando, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Gordon.
What have you been up to, Hernando?
It's been a very slow week for me. My mind was just been occupied with something else, and I watched a few of the videos, but in the beginning part of Accounting.js with the what do they call it? There was anyway, just the first 3 or 4 videos. But my mind's just been really occupied, so I haven't really gone past that. It just happens, isn't it, sometimes?
Yep. Yeah, it happens. Did you have any questions or any comments or observations you wanted to share?
No, not at the moment. I haven't, because I haven't got far enough to encounter those subtle details that you told me about last time that I might encounter as I go through the. Because I told you I actually completed about 95% of it, but as I didn't have any major issues, you said that as I go through the videos, I might become more aware of the very subtle coding. But no, I mean, I haven't gone that far into it, so I haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
that
cool.
far into the video.
Yeah, well, let me know when you get there.
I will do.
Okay, cool. Well, it seems like we've gone through everyone. That was really quick. So it's a light day. So we might end it early. Does anyone have questions that they want to, additional questions that they just thought of while we've been on the video chat? I know Andrew usually has a couple. Anyone? Andrew?
They're always useless, you know it.
All right, well, let's do a useless question. Not to encourage useless questions.
Actually, at the moment, because I was listening, I didn't think of one, but I'm sure I will in a minute.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I guess what I was asking is, if I guess as far as the course goes, because I don't know. I guess I was wondering if you had any ideas about making, maybe even, I don't know, coming up with problems that we could solve by writing small bits of code that address the different concepts that we're going through. I don't know if because I'm still on version 2, so I don't know if there's stuff like that coming in the future.
Wait, where are you exactly?
I'm still on the reading section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so there's a lesson at the end called digestion techniques. Yeah. So,
right.
So that addresses that problem.
Okay. Yeah. That's where you fix where you fix a part of the code that's you break apart part of the code and then you fix it, I guess, from memory without the videos.
Not from memory, but
Or-
you figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. All right, cool.
Never memorize anything.
Okay.
I cannot emphasize that enough.
No, I definitely see the value of that, because it's memory doesn't really help necessarily. It kind of like distracts from understanding. Memorizing it, you feel like you can do it, but you're really just memorizing a series of characters rather than the actual principles behind it. So that makes sense. And then I don't know. I've been going through that code, and I asked because I've been doing things like building like I built a little keypad, which is like I strung together a few HTML buttons, and like basically you click them, and then you click a button, and it creates it basically puts the character in an LI. And I did it just to kind of reinforce some of the concepts that I was looking at. Because it's one thing to read it and be like, okay, I get that this part does that, but then, and I know it's kind of like the balance between understanding, and then you're basically saying not to focus on building. Like, trying to build things from scratch isn't the way to learn. You're saying reading is the way to learn. But I guess what I've been doing with the code is I've been going through it, and then when I look at it, when I feel like I've nailed down a concept and what it's doing, I try to replicate it. And I don't know. That's why I was kind of asking about like problems, because I've been coming up with like little mini ones for myself until I can tackle the bigger ones that are at the end of the reading section.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like everything I can really say is in the digestion techniques lesson. But I'm wondering if like Leo or Hernando have, or anyone else has additional thoughts. Because I think, have you done everything in the digestion techniques?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I've gone through the digestion techniques, and then the part and then I see that like lack of understanding and how certain parts of the code work. I've basically done everything except fix one broken part of the code, like breaking a part of the main part of the code and then repairing it.
So why don't you do that?
I guess I'll give it a shot. I feel. Yeah, I mean, I'm working up to that. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I could just go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool.
Go for it. It might not be smooth, but it might be. I don't know. And I don't think you'll know either until you try it.
Okay.
But what it will definitely do is highlight areas that where you need more work. And that's the whole point, right? And so I'd almost say like maybe you're overthinking a little bit too much. Like, there is a task for you to do that I think has been helpful for a lot of students. So you should just go ahead and do it, because the whole objective of that is to fix the problem that you're having. But yeah, I mean, if anyone else, like, I don't know, Hernando, do you have any advice or anything for Joe?
Well, I remember when I done it, I wouldn't say I actually broke a part of it, but what I did, I rewrote some of the functions. I mean, basically by memory, you know. So they weren't as advanced as some of the ones in there, but I basically looked over it and I gave it a few hours, and then I came back to it and tried to rebuild a function, but not strictly by memory, but more by understanding as to what was happening. And so I didn't actually go out and purposefully break a part of it and try to fix it that way. So, but I think I just dealt with it like a function and just said, right, I haven't got this particular function. Let me rebuild it from what, not like as I remember it, but just from my understanding as to what the input should be and what it should return, you know?
Yep. Yeah. So the kind of last thing Hernando said is the way you want to think about it, like what what should be the input, what should it return. I think the to-do list is a little bit more complicated because it's not just inputs and outputs, but it's about like what the page looks like at any given moment. And so, Joe, what you want to think about is, when you delete a feature, a lot of stuff's going to be broken. You're going to have error messages. A lot of things are going to be that are supposed to happen aren't going to happen. And you just need to write all those things out, right? And think about what are the things that need to happen, and then just methodically tackle each thing. Right? That's the task, and that's yeah. I think having this.
That's why I've been getting hung up on it too, is because it's like, it's not so much, I guess, the managing of the information. It's more like the visual display things, and that, like, if I break it, I'm gonna go through and fix all of that. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to get I'm trying to get like a better handle on all the code, going through it line by line before I attempt that. So, but I figure attempting that will give me a better sense of what I need to understand. So,
yeah, I mean, it will force you to review it in a focused way, whereas I think right now you're reviewing it in a very unfocused way, right? Because there's no goal. So, I think just doing the digestion techniques is the way to go.
Same problem here, Joe. Same problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's hard. So I don't expect most students to do it perfectly. You're gonna mess it up, and that's good. Just so maybe it's good to have the expectation that you're not gonna get it perfect, so then you don't freak out.
Sure.
Just expect that you won't get it.
Yeah.
But then when I'm not to say that you won't get it, but like you probably won't, and that's normal. If it doesn't happen, don't freak out about it. But if you get into that stage where you didn't get it to work, then just kind of think about what the problem was. What is the thing that you missed? Was it because did you miss something that you could have figured out? If so, what was the thing that like, was there behavior you could have done differently to get it to work? Right? Are there things in your behavior that you can change? Because everything, you should be able to figure it out. Like, you shouldn't really have to ever watch the video.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you about that.
Like you should be able to figure it out because you know what's supposed to happen.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So,
and I feel like I'm familiar enough with how the DOM works and like tracking back from the code to the HTML elements, that I should be able to like pick up that piece. If I'm trying to get information to show up here, I should be able to find where here is in the HTML and what it is in the JavaScript and put it together. So yeah, I'll definitely give it a shot. I basically I just pulled it up. I've been sitting at step 3, which is leave the code on your desk until it bores you. And it's not boring me yet when I look at it. is really what is going on. So,
okay.
But yeah, I will definitely make inroads. Like I'll put that on my schedule. Like I'll probably do it this week for sure, and start trying to get to that point. And then that will probably generate questions for if I really just get stuck somewhere, then I'll probably have legitimate questions to ask. More so, kind of sitting in this space where I'm wondering if I understand it enough to go forward. So yeah, all right. But thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, can I add something?
Yep.
What I did do, I think, is Joe on the jQuery to do MVC?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What I found that did help me is that you suggested to add new features, and I found that really helped me with the jQuery part. What I added, I added like a trash feature where all the deleted to-dos went into trash. And it wasn't that complicated to do, but it really helped me, because then things started breaking all over the place with the display, and I had to correct those and work my way through it. But
it's funny that you say that because in a way, you did the delete one feature thing because you did end up breaking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah. But that, I mean, that was when I did the trash thing, and I had like a little trash button there, so I could see all the previously deleted to-dos. I don't think I had anything to restore it from trash, but it didn't go into trash anyway.
Well, you can look at the trash and then add it yourself, right?
But that was really helpful doing that.
Yeah, I think that's probably, I would probably recommend doing that after you do the delete and features exercise, Joe. But yeah, that's something that could be helpful, what Hernando just suggested. So Leo had a related question. Leo, you can ask your question. You said you have a question about the digestion techniques.
Yeah, actually I do. I'm not sure if I'm actually doing it properly. So basically what I do is like I read code and then
Wait, can you repeat that? You do what?
yeah, so basically what I do is I just read it and leave it for like half an hour and then come back and then trying to delete something and then trying to sort of like rewrite the code.
Can you speak into your microphone? It's really hard to, I'm having trouble understanding.
Oh, can you hear it now?
That's better, yeah.
Okay, sorry. So what I did was I just read the code and then leave it for like half an hour and come back and try to rewrite it. So I just erase it and then try and put it back and see if it works. I'm not sure if that, because it's still in my memory, so I'm not sure that I'm actually just memorizing it and then typing it back in, or am I actually understanding it? And now that you ask me, because it was like 2 weeks ago that I did that, and now I don't really recall much of the stuff.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I don't expect that you would recall something from 2 weeks ago. I think this question is just generally like a memorization question, I feel like, and it's like, and my answer is always don't worry about memorizing. So, you know, if you forgot it, something you did 2 weeks ago, that's okay. That's normal.
Okay.
So that part is fine. I think when you read it for 30 minutes and then try to redo it, like, so you're looking at an app, you delete one feature, or you're looking at an app for 30 minutes and then you delete one feature and then try to add it back. I think ideally you don't look at it. You don't have that period where you're looking at it for 30 minutes right before doing the exercise, because then you could, like, it is in your memory and you've seen it like quite a lot. I think it's better to, I mean, I think that's still helpful. It's better than doing nothing, right? It does still force you to do some work, but I think it's more valuable if you don't do that 30-minute step. Right. So you fully understand it, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean memorize it. It could mean, like, fully understanding could literally mean every single time you see a jQuery, one of the methods, you have to look it up. That can be considered fully understanding. Like, having to look something up has nothing to do with understanding it. Like, when I talk about understanding, is you are able to figure it out on your own. That's what I mean. And so if you're able to figure out things on your own, then you would be able to recreate things on your own too. Because you would, like I was telling Joe, if you delete a feature that was doing A, B, C, D, and E, once you've removed those things, well, then you have to figure out how all A, B, C, D, and E are not happening. How do you get them to happen again? And just go through one by one and get that to happen. And so you're thinking about it from the problem perspective. You're not thinking about it from the perspective of what was here before, like what code was here before. And you actually, like, for example, for me, if I just looked at it 30 minutes ago, I could probably just write it out verbatim. Right. And that defeats the purpose. Right. It doesn't really matter how fast I typed it, because it's almost better that I forgot stuff. Right. Because then you want to have to actually think about it.
If I go back and redo it, or
I just have a quick thing. So if I'm breaking this, I take out
let's let Leo finish. Leo, you're in the middle of saying something.
Right. Yeah. So should I redo the whole thing again? Since it's
Yeah. This is also judgment call. So I had the note about how obsessive compulsive you are,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? So again, so for people that are watching don't know what I'm talking about. The delete end features exercise, if you have an app with 5 features, you first do every combination of deleting one feature, right? So you delete this one, add it back, delete this one, add it back, and so on with every single feature.
Mhm.
And for most people, that's enough because from doing that, they understand the entire application. Some people want to go to the next step and they delete every 2, combination every 2. So this is a harder, I'm not going to get all the combinations, but like you can remove these 2 and then remove the first one and the third one, and then the fourth one and the first one, and then the first one and the fifth one, and so on, every single combination, right? And then you can do every combination of 3, 4, and then 5 is there's only one combination of 5 missing features, right?
Right.
And so depending on how obsessive you are, you could go all the way to 5, n equals 5. I mean, honestly, some people could be okay with n equals 0, right? So for me, I would probably, because I'm not I seem like I'm obsessive compulsive, but with things that I know I can look up, like I'm not really very much obsessive at all because I can just look it up. So for me, I would actually personally veer towards 0. I think most students should veer towards at least 1, maybe 2. But I mean, you don't have to do this exercise at all. So it depends on how you feel, right? So you feel really good about it, then you could probably get away with doing less. The problem, I guess, is a lot of students, and that's why I recommend you do at least n equals 1. The reason is because when you're this early in your programming learning, you can be a very bad gauge of how far you are and how much you understand something. So n equals 1 will at least expose problems that you may not be obvious to you.
Mhm.
I think the reason I'm at n equals 0 is because when I look at a piece of code, and I think everyone will get to this point too, you just have a very good sense of what you understand and don't understand. So you don't really have to do an additional exercise to kind of force you to see blind spots, right? And I think most of you will get to that point, but usually it doesn't happen in the beginning. So when you're a beginner, you should err on the side of being more cautious, and at least do n equals 1, because I think from doing n equals 1, you might notice that I understand this really well, right? And then you can move on. You might realize, damn, I don't know anything. If that happens, then you should do n equals 2,
Mhm.
and then see how you feel, right?
Yeah.
Or just repeat n equals 1 again, right? And then if n equals 2 feels good, then you can move on. But if you realize, damn, I think I actually need more work, then you can do n equals 3, right? And then it all depends on where you are and how you feel. But it's ultimately if you feel good about it, you should move on. But n equals 1 at least gives you a reality check as to where you are. So n equals 1 is absolutely worth doing. Leo, you're having done it already. Maybe you feel like you don't need to go back, or you feel like you do need to go back. I think it's a personal judgment call for you.
Okay, I see.
Right.
I mean, I've done like a to-do app before, the jQuery one. I've done a React one, so it's kind of confusing to me. Like, I don't know, like to-do apps between libraries. So I don't know if I'm actually fully understanding. I feel like I fully understand everything. But if you ask me to do it again, I'm not that confident that I can actually do it right away.
No, well, I mean, right away is like I couldn't do it right away either.
Oh, really?
Right? I think I would take X amount of time to figure it out. Like, what does right away mean? I think people always think, oh, I can't do it in this amount of time, but does it really matter how much time it takes? I mean, it shouldn't take a ridiculous amount of time,
Right.
But if it's like an hour or two, I think that's fine. Like, you know, or for me, maybe it's a little longer.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if something for me took like, I don't know, an hour or something. That wouldn't be surprising to me. I haven't personally done this exercise myself on this code, so I don't know. But you know, I think people might be surprised that it might take me an hour to do something, but I wouldn't be surprised by that, because I haven't been, you know, if I haven't looked at something in a really long time and then I delete a feature and I have to reorient myself and remember everything that's going on and recreate things and rediscover things over and over, like that I don't see right now, that takes time.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think if I can see you like if I do it in a small video where you can try to create stuff and see like how long you actually need to sort of like figure stuff, even at your level.
Mhm.
It will be very interesting for me to like sort of to measure how far I am away from being, you know, where I want to be.
Well, I mean, I think the point in saying that, you know, I probably take more time than you think is the whole point is that it doesn't matter how long it takes,
Okay.
right? So as long as you get it done, I mean, it shouldn't take a week, right? So forget, you know, if you delete one feature, it should not take it should definitely not take a week, right? Well, one full day would be a long time too, but you know, a couple hours is totally reasonable, and I don't think that would be that big of an issue, right? And also, I think a lot of programming tasks, when you do it like today, Leo, and then if you come back in a month, just because you've been doing harder things, like other things for a month, and you come back, you're going to be a lot faster, like without even looking at this particular code, like because you're just better at programming in general, and everything's faster, right? So that's why, like, for example, for students that have finished all the premium stuff, when they go to practical JavaScript, a lot of them tell me like, damn, this is so easy, right? And but when they were going through it the first time, they didn't have that feeling. So just having that comfort, I think, makes things a lot easier. Okay. Leah, anything else before I go back to Joe?
No, that's pretty good for me. Thanks.
Okay. Joe, you were saying something?
Yeah. I was just looking at an approach. So let's say I take a feature out. I should have, I guess, kind of like notes on exactly how the feature works that don't give away how the code, like what the code looks like, and then code that or write that code into it. And then I guess I shouldn't be too concerned about getting it to look exactly how it looked before. I should just get it to work the way it does. Okay.
Yeah. So for example, here's another digestion technique. I think one of the other students, I told him. So I think he may have done all of the digestion techniques, and he wanted to do even more. So I said, well, you can rewrite the entire application without jQuery, right? And just plain JavaScript. And you can do that. I mean, so like obviously that would look different than the existing code. So that exercise is a really obsessive exercise, because it forces you to think about exactly what's happening and then just like translate it in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. So, and so the key thing is not the syntax or method A or method B, but you have to really have an understanding of what is the underlying work that's happening. Like that has to be crystal clear in your mind before you can do any translation, right?
Right.
So that's like even more obsessive digestion technique.
Works really well though.
It works really well. Yeah.
I've seen it. It shows when he speaks.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, I think that can. I mean, there's value to doing that as well, right? Yeah. So there's so many things you could do, and it really depends on. I mean, there's definitely diminishing returns too, but for each thing you do, all this stuff is really, I think, helpful. Okay. So if you want to do more of it, I encourage you to, because Especially if you feel like you still need to do it, then you probably should do it, right? So,
Well,
Yeah.
I was looking at I have been thinking about that actually. I remember Adil talking about that. You and Adil talking about that. Would you suggest doing it, taking out one part of it, like fixing
Yeah.
one or each one of the removed parts first, and then rewriting the whole thing in JavaScript separately?
Well, you can do it a bunch of ways, right? So you could do the end missing feature exercise, and just choose to do it the same way, right? So use jQuery. You can then do the end missing
Right.
features exercise again, but each time you write it, you remove jQuery from that, right? So for example, if you remove the delete feature, when you add it back, you don't introduce any jQuery,
Okay.
right? And so you can also you can basically do end missing features in two ways, like two flavors of it, right? One is more difficult because one is you have to. The easy one is the obvious one. You just get it to work again. You do whatever you want. So for most students, they've seen it done in jQuery, so they do that. But the more difficult one is to do the same thing but not in jQuery, and then you have to be more careful and be more thoughtful about it.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I was messing around with some of the small parts of code and just like kind of replicating similar versions, and I was having this issue where I would try to make this thing happen with jQuery, and I was having trouble with it, but I was able to write it out in just plain JavaScript, in vanilla JavaScript, and it just made more sense to me that way. And I guess it's probably because I guess because the methods seem to be different. I guess like in vanilla JavaScript, it's append child, whereas in jQuery you have append and append to, and you have like these different ways that you can use it. Whereas if you were to do that like append to in JavaScript, you'd probably use append child plus some extra code. And I don't know, like JavaScript seems more, I don't know, I kind of like it better writing in JavaScript than jQuery. But at the same time, I appreciate what jQuery is doing and how it works. So yeah, I'll definitely I'll let you know how I end up doing it. But I'm going to tackle that this week. I think that's a good, like I feel like I'm in a place where I could definitely move forward on that too. So
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna mute you, Joe. There's a lot of background noise. Okay, so we went through the second round of questions. Is there a third round of questions? It's okay, I can end early too. So I'll just let y'all think about it. I have on. I'll look at the YouTube live since we're light on questions today. So scroll up. Hello, Tatiana. Thanks for joining. Shirin had a question. So you're at 30%. Okay, so the question, to repeat it in case this text is small. So quote, just one general question that I've seen in JavaScript code here and there. I've seen callback functions so much. What is it for? So you're at 30% of practical JavaScript. When you get to 100%, that question will definitely be answered for you. So I would just continue going and you'll find that answer. And then Adrian says, what's up? What's up, Adrian? Hey. So those are questions from the live chat. I'll have a last call for questions in the video chat, and then if there aren't any, I'll just end it. So last call in the video chat. Anyone? Anyone? All right, so I guess I'll end it. So as usual, after we go off the air and I stop the broadcast, I usually continue and hang out a little bit in this video chat off the air. and continue the discussion. So if you're shy and you don't want to be on the air, then you can join us for that. If not, if you're just watching, then thanks for joining. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you all next week.